Oh, I got my first middle finger. What am I doing? You know, some people just don't learn. Why? Why did I get another Cybertruck? Yo, welcome back. I appreciate every single one of you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. This is my second Cybertruck. My first one was repurchased by Tesla. Thanks to support by Sherwin, links to his channel in the description. I was the first person to have my Cybertruck repurchased by Tesla because of all the issues I had with it. But I went ahead and bought another one. And I bought this in November before the political climate changed and Elon was in the news for being a part of the government. And regardless of my stance on that, your stance on that, it is what it is. And some people did not like that. And the question always comes up, would you do it again today? So if my Cybertruck was repurchased now, would I do the same thing? Now, I'm not influenced by what Elon does, but I finally got my first middle finger, and this one was unprovoked. I was just driving down the street, and a car on the opposite side of the road was turning left in front of me, and I just saw him stick his hand out, and I turned to my homeboy. I'm like, did he just flip us off? He's like, I think he did. And my question is, what did I do to you? All right, what did I do to you? And that's a conversation I would love to have with that individual, but I didn't do that, right? I did not do that. I'm just curious, like, what is the deal? And honestly, that doesn't bother me that much because I can handle myself, right? But I do wonder, and I've heard stories about Cybertruck drivers, kids being bullied or made fun of at school. That's not cool at all, right? So would I do it again? And why did I do this again? So again, in November, things were different. People still loved and hated it, but I would do it again. I would get another Cybertruck, but it would be a harder decision. I mean, I love this truck, but it would be a harder decision just because of things like that. But there's nothing like this on the road. First of all, this being my second Cybertruck, it's night and day better than my first one. I'll talk about some of the issues. I have a video called 99 Problems with my first Cybertruck. And the biggest issue from my old Cybertruck was this tailgate. And I had issues with this tailgate. First of all, this one opens, no problem, right? I had issues with the tailgate opening, closing. People say, oh, did you unlock the vehicle? That wasn't a problem, right? I took it into them 3 times, and finally they said, all right, you know, this is a problem. So this was a big deal. And then sometimes it would close, sometimes it wouldn't close. Sometimes I'll close it and it'll drop. Sometimes it'll randomly drop. It was a huge issue. And sometimes it would stay closed. I couldn't do anything, even if I did it from the screen, if I did it from the app. So this tailgate, hey, it works. Also, sometimes these buttons wouldn't work anymore. Like if I washed the truck or if it rained and water settled in here, I don't know if it was the ceiling underneath, but it would prevent this from working. And I washed the car yesterday and I tested it. We had rain the other day, tested it. I had no issues here, right? So honestly, there's people having issues with their inverters, you know, the motors, all kind of different, like big issues. Mine was the biggest is the tailgate, and that's a safety thing too. You don't want this just dropping randomly. But I didn't have any issues with the motors or anything like that. So that is definitely fixed. Another big issue I had on my old Cybertruck, well, we still got that rivet. That rivet is still there. So that first one was the Foundation series. It was one of the first ones out. Some people say that's to be expected with the first issue, to have lots of problems. I don't agree with that. I think there should be some issues, not a lot. But another thing was this top gear selector would just drop. And then I'll try to close it, then it'll drop. And then I'll try to close it, and then it'll drop. And then I took it in, and they pushed it up, and it stayed for a little while, and then it dropped. I'm like, what's going on with that, right? It's annoying. It was pretty bad. I've had no issues with this one. I would get warnings on the screen all the time about all these weird things happening. And it was a lot of big issues. Now, I do have one similar issue. And this didn't start with this truck, and now it's happening now. There's lots of creaking noises, right? When I turn, I hear a little creak here and there. I had that on my first Cybertruck, the Foundation Series one, and I took it in and they fixed it. So it's just a matter of time for me to pinpoint where it is, and I'll take it in and have them fix it, because it's still kind of early in the vehicle's life to have those noises. And I had other little issues here and there, but those were the main ones that bothered me that I just couldn't deal with anymore, and I had to have them fixed. And some other things that I noticed, this truck is overall better, right? The build seems better. When I did get this one, there was a rattle in here, and I took it in immediately, and they fixed it. I don't know what they did. They removed something. I think there was a screw loose or something like that. Also, the air suspension is way faster and more efficient on here. Now, you could do it on the app now. Watch this. If you go to controls, can you see that? Scroll up. Let's drop it to entry. It's way faster, way more quiet. Look at that. And then let's go to the high. So that has definitely improved. It's way faster than it was. Oh yeah, so other things I was wrong with my Foundation Series, and these didn't really contribute to the recall unless they looked at everything in overall and said, okay, he's had so many issues, let's do it. I had a line on my windshield. It wasn't a crack, it was a line, and it was in my line of sight. My frunk was sunken in, they fixed that. And this one was a little bit misaligned, but I don't really care about alignment issues, right? I don't really care about that unless it's really bad, really egregious. But if you look here, everything looked pretty good. Some people be big dealing some of these things. Look at that. That's pretty good to me. I don't know. Look at that. That's pretty good. And, you know, these panels don't look too... I mean, I think it came out perfectly. But again, this one is night and day better. Now, if I had issues with this one, similar issues, I don't think I'm coming back to another Cybertruck. But I haven't had those issues. But I got this one again because it is absolutely an amazing vehicle, right? You could call me biased. You can say whatever you want to say. This is my second pickup truck. I had one back in college a while ago, and it was a lot smaller. It definitely didn't have the functionality of this one. And look, some things I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take to the city dump. But look at this. These been in here for a couple days now. It's plenty of room. I'm going to actually tear down my old basketball court, put it in here, transport it. I've transported things to the dump already. But this is so functional, and I'm really happy I did this again. Some of the features that, you know, many other vehicles have and some do not have. I mean, this L-track, I use it all the time to tie things down, right? Huge feature that a lot of trucks and vehicles add on their own after the fact, but this one's already included. I did add these molly panels, and I don't really use them, but they look cool, but I guess I can use them if I need them eventually. Just having that tonneau cover. These bikes have been back here, and honestly, if somebody stole them, I wouldn't really care. but the fact of the matter is, you have a powered, hard covered vault tonneau cover. I mean, some people will say things like, how can you spend 80K and you get them for 70 now, right? You get a Cybertruck all-wheel drive for 70 now. People say things like, oh, I can't believe it doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. That's so expensive. No, think about what you get for $80,000. If you qualify for that tax credit, or if you go into the inventory, think about what you get, right? All right, except for the strong exterior, which makes, you know, me feel a lot more safe. Like when that guy gave me the finger, I was like, oh, if I do chase him down, or I'm sorry, if I do approach him to ask him questions, if he has a weapon, I shall feel safe, right? But I didn't do anything. But anyway, this power tunnel itself, this vault, you could keep things in here and keep them safe, not keep them dry. even though I used to have an open slat right here, and they stopped. For some reason, they stopped adding a little piece there. But even though I got to replace, when I washed my car, water still did enter. So it's not 100% waterproof. But to keep things safe, you know, and from people stealing them, how many vehicles come with a hard powered tonneau, right? I was looking at the GMC Sierra EV, and I love them, but I saw one on the road and it had the little soft top and it was just flapping in the wind. I'm like, man, that don't look that premium, you know? So having this, pretty dope. Some people say, how come there's no step? Well, the GMCs and the Chevys, and they have that, you know, that power tailgate, which is really cool, and I kind of wish, yeah, having a step would be cool, but I watched Sherwin's video, and he was like, hey, step right here. You step right here, you can walk in easily. Oh, yeah, I could do that. Put my hand up here, I can step right here, and look at that. Yeah, Crocs on deck. And pull myself up just like that. No big deal, right? Pretty simple. I mean, it works. It's not ideal, but it works. And it's not hard to do at all, except for you get a little, you know, maybe I'll put that little protection here. Some people complain about this camera here because when the tailgate is down, you can't see anything. That is stupid. They really should have had one up there. I did add that, but that's pretty dumb that they didn't have that already. So that's no good. And also, everybody talks about that rear view mirror camera in there. You know, I added that. It should have come with that. It didn't. They got cheap on that. So, but anyway, talking about what you get for 80K. Staying with the exterior, you get that air suspension I showed you earlier. You can change your ride height. You can bring it down to entry mode. You can have it sit in this high stance like I usually do. It just looks dope, man. At a press of a button. Yes, other vehicles can do that, right? But you have that app access. And here's a funny thing. So for premium connectivity for these Teslas are $10 a month. And for that, you get like the software features in the cab, right? They don't take away your app permissions or control. They don't take away your being able to cool down your vehicle, heat up your vehicle. Because my buddy has a Subaru. And after owning it for 3 years, they removed that functionality where she used to love, where she was able to start up her car and cool it down before she get in. Now there might be other things that came with that subscription, but that was her big one, right? And she's like, oh man, they get you hooked and they pull it away, and it's $300 a year. So it's way more expensive and it's less functionality. So that $10 a month is nothing. Nothing. And if you don't have that, you still get most of the experience. So man, don't come at me like that. So yes, you get all that stuff. The size of this bed. Now it's a little deceiving. They say it's a 6-foot bed. And it is from the base down there to this base. But in all honesty, it is not 6 feet because look at, and I did measure this in my other video, it's about 5.5 feet because this top part is at an angle like this. The bottom of the bed is down there, but it's at an angle. So if you're putting in something tall, it's only 5.5. But then, look at this top part. That comes out even more. So if you're putting up something really tall, you really have less than 6 feet. You can remove this, but it's not easy to do. And it is cumbersome, but also I got my camera on there, so think about all that. So you don't technically get a 6-foot bed, but you do have a large bed. And this is one of the reasons why I went with this over the Rivian. And I don't use my bed all the time, but I do. And when I do, it's nice to have that extra space. See, it works out well for the bikes, right? Because the tire can go down there. And these are, you know, it works out. So I do like that. Some people say they wish that this rear glass back there can go down and you can access the bed. That would be cool. There's a company that made something like that. That would be cool, but honestly, it's not necessary. But I would love it for my dogs. I have my dogs back here and they can just, you know, be looking in there and I can see them. So I don't know. We might do something about that later. We shall see. But again, for the things you pay for, here in the back seat, we do have this under seat storage. Boom. You keep whatever you want. This is extra, and I didn't go with the Tesla one. I went with a third-party one because it has the dividers or whatever. So, but just having this extra room, you lift this seat up, and most trucks do have something where, you know, either it folds up, it folds back, and you have that extra space. But you do get that. You get this rear screen. I know you guys seen that controller back there from Jowua. You get this rear screen. And on the real, this functionality, none of the other vehicles have. Well, the Rivian has a rear screen, but it doesn't have this functionality. The GMC didn't have it, and I knew my kids love this screen, right? The other day my son got in and was like, it's hot. I said, well, control it. He's like, oh yeah. He was able to control the temperature, right? You can control the seat, this back seat. If nobody's sitting there, you can control it. You can control the music if you know it's allowed. Of course, you have all the streaming services, $10 a month, premium connectivity. Of course, the games, and they game. And not only do they game there, they game on YouTube. So YouTube has games too, so they play on that. So it is definitely like something that's really cool. And I was sitting back here, and as I sat back here, I tried to see, is it hard to see the screen? So, Pete, I'm sitting back here, and I have plenty of headroom, and I got plenty of space, and I got 3 boys, and they fit comfortably. But if I want to see that screen, yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard to see. And honestly, they do lean like this. When there's 2 of them back here, they lean on the seat a little bit like this. And they play, which is not, you know, that ergonomically sound. We are taking a road trip pretty soon. And I don't know which vehicle I'm going to take. I kind of want to take this. But we'll see how they do back here. You know, I know they're going to be, they don't have phones. And if you have a phone, of course, you're just going to be on your phone. But it's pretty cool to have that right there. So that you get that for your money. Really basic, really simple interior. Again, for your money, what do you get? You get these nice vegan leather seats. Very comfortable. I don't know about the quality. They do wrinkle kind of easily on certain spots. But what I didn't like about the Hummer, I kind of like their seats. It was that textile, and it had a little bit of it had actually more textile everywhere in it. It had a little bit of vegan leather in it, but the one I tested out, overall these seats are more comfortable for me. So of course you get this huge screen, the biggest screen that Tesla offers, 18 inches, and you get all the Tesla stuff, right? There's not a whole video about the software, but you get all the things. What you don't get is HomeLink. So I did subscribe to MyQ, and I'm kind of glad I did, because now we have it in multiple vehicles, and we have it in the app, and my son has it on his phone, so when he comes home, he can use it. So I'm kind of glad. It's not perfect, but it does work out, and you do get your money's worth if you use it on multiple devices. So honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I will do a video on it. There's parts of HomeLink that's better, but overall, I think it's better to have that MyQ system, that ecosystem where everybody can open it from all their devices, and there's different things to it. You get the steer-by-wire, and no other truck has steer-by-wire, and it's definitely a game changer, because as you drive, it's locked out. It's locked out. Ugh, I don't like how that sounds. You like how that sounds? And it makes driving this way more nimble, way easier, right? It's nothing like it. I mean, you could turn, 3-point turns, U-turns, just regular turns. Everything's way easier with this. I mean, I didn't like this wheel at first. I'm not going to call it a Squircle. I didn't like it, not because of the shape of the round part, but just because this part used to dig into my hand, and I've gotten used to how I hold it, right? But having steer-by-wire makes it definitely a game changer. Everybody says it, and unless you try it, it's nothing like driving a Cybertruck. So that makes it worth it. And the Hummer does have, yeah, that rear wheel. But other vehicles have those rear wheel steering So that's cool and all, but that's not like super impressive. I do wish I had more cup holders, but I have this extra storage down here, which has 2 more cup holders, and I keep my tissues in there, right? And I at least still have this space here for my wife's purse or whatever. Like if I have lunch or something, I'm gonna store down there. But you get a lot for your money. So there's so many other things. This huge windshield. I mean, it's an aesthetic thing, but it's nice, and it makes the vehicle feel more premium. Now, when we talk about premium vehicles, that GMC did feel future. That GMC Sierra EV did feel more premium than this, but I know the software will be outdated a lot faster than this one. And that kind of keeps this being more premium, right? More luxurious, because you get software updates and it stays with the latest. I have the latest hardware for. And Tesla is known for software updates and constantly improving the ecosystem and adding new features, just like how I was able to raise and lower the suspension from the app. They're always doing different things that make this a better experience overall. But I do think I made the right choice. And there's other things. The audio, I always forget to talk about the audio. The audio is legit. No, it's nothing like a custom system. No, right? But it is legit. If you guys ever test drive one of these, you need to bump it, right? I was in Hawaii. When I was in Hawaii, there's a Tesla showroom, and they were bumping. I thought they had a DJ. I'm like, what's going on? So I turned the corner, walk into Tesla. It was a Cybertruck with the doors open, the windows down, and the music blasting. And it sounded like it was a party in there. You get a lot for your money. Oh, what? Full self-driving? No, that's extra, right? You do pay more for that. But having that, even as an option, is way more than any other vehicle. And it's only $99 a month if you subscribe. I hear the Super Cruise or whatever they use in other cars, it's more expensive and it's less functional. You know, full self-driving is not perfect, but it is legit. I got videos on that too. So think about what you get for the price, and you're gonna tell me this is not worth it? There's a better vehicle out there. There's some different vehicles, but better? Am I biased? You tell me. I don't know. There are some, and it's all about preference, right? There's iPhone people, there's Android people, there's Tesla people, and there are other EV people. And I've had other EVs. So, and I've tested plenty of other EVs. But would I do this again? If I had problems with this one, absolutely would not do it again. If I had my first one repurchased around this time, I'd get another one. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Tell me your thoughts. You know, did the middle finger trigger me and make me regret my decisions? Nah, I didn't. Don't forget, Cobra told you. All right, y'all.